Hello and welcome to the Downsized Dish. My name is Laraine Durham, and this is our weekly series where we talk to people who have lost weight using a GLP-1 medication like Zepbound, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, semaglutide, and Tirzepatide. Welcome to our channel, The Downsized. We talk about all things related to GLP-1 weight loss, and we put out videos every day related to all kinds of topics on GLP-1s. We hope you will like and subscribe to our channel. And before we get started, I'd also like to just mention that I'm not a doctor. My guest is not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. So if you'd like to start your GLP-1 or weight loss journey, please consult your doctor. Okay, so I'd like to welcome Cory to the Downsized Dish. Welcome, Cory.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. Cory, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am 50 years old. I'll be 51 this weekend. Been married for 28 years, and we have two adult children. Our daughter has been married for 4.5 years and gave us our first grandbaby, a girl, last year. So she's 1. And our son is 24, and he just got married last year. And we love our son-in-law and daughter-in-law like our own. It's just been amazing. Our kids all live within 10 to 20 minutes of us. We see them almost every day. We sit together in church. They love being with us. We love being with them. We are very, very blessed. And so that, I would say, is the biggest thing about me.
Oh, well, that's really nice. It's really nice to have all your family nearby and be close like that. Mm-hmm. Well, tell us about your weight loss journey, Cory.
Well, I'm someone who I did not struggle with weight when I was a child. I was actually quite small, and they'd give me a lot of food to try to fill me up because I was just a tiny little girl. And things didn't really start becoming an issue until high school. And I dealt with a few, I would say, high cortisol issues with high stress. I was abused by a teacher.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't like a typical thing. It was, she provided alcohol and she was really mentally ill. Crazy stuff, which, I mean, if you're a teacher abusing children, you're mentally ill.
Right.
And she was very frightening. She hit me and I had to go to a deposition against her. My parents sent me away to boarding school to protect me. And a lot of kids then came out to talk about it.
Oh, wow.
So it was a very long process, but I kind of lived in terror for years.
Yeah, of course.
The things that she would do afterward. I mean, this was an unhinged person.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that part. And I went to boarding school and I gained a lot of weight there. And I haven't talked about this on TikTok or on the pen. I haven't really shared this aspect of my story because I have, you just kind of go along at what you're going to share. But while I was at boarding school, the girls there taught me how to be bulimic. Because, you start gaining weight. And so that kind of started something for me for, many years to come, off and on. And that would be my go-to. And I haven't struggled so many years. So, I mean, that's wonderful. But, it's still, it still was not a great thing to go through. And so then in college, just a lot more situations like that where it was a lot of high stress. So I really do believe that high cortisol levels affect you. And then during that time, I was in a cheerleading accident. And I ended up having 3 years of physical therapy, all kinds of things. And I was taking 8 Advil a day to keep inflammation down, which back then Advil tasted like candy.
Right.
And so, but I was just doing whatever I could because I didn't want to be on painkillers. And and so I had to eat a lot of heavy food to keep from getting an ulcer because of the Advil. And so I ended up gaining a lot of weight and I started having acute gallbladder attacks every time I ate. And I ended up having a laparoscopic surgery. And they found that my gallbladder was enlarged 7 times the size it's supposed to be.
Oh, wow.
So they put me on a fat-free diet immediately. And they didn't remove my gallbladder, which was good. And that just progressed along. I mean, then there's life, I was married, had children, regular gaining a lot of weight with that. But I know that my gallbladder just had many issues ever since. And so eventually in 2009, I had a major gallbladder attack. It was gallstones, and I had it removed. I've done a lot of backtracking this year, trying to figure out when I really started getting quite heavy, because in my mind, I was very heavy. But when I look back, compared to a lot of people who have struggled with obesity, I was not, and I was probably relatively healthy. And I've shared before how when I was at a doctor and in college for all these health issues that I was having with my back and whatever, the doctor poked my stomach and he said, "We need to do something about this." And I weighed, I can't remember what I said before, but I think I was maybe around 124 pounds, 20 pounds, something like that, 120 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm 5'1".
Yeah. That's not heavy at all.
No. But it really messed with my head. And so being someone who struggled with bulimia and then having that, my perception of myself was that I was a very large person. And so that I've always thought of myself as that way as an adult. But I looked back at what I've actually weighed, what I've been able to find throughout the years, and I don't think I actually started struggling truly with heavy weight until after my gallbladder was removed.
Interesting.
And I think that did something. I mean, I know that they say it's not needed. I think it probably is a healthy one. And so that was back in 2009. So shortly after that, or around that time, is really when I started struggling. And so it just kind of went on from there. And so I tried everything. I mean, I've done phentermine like everybody had. I did Fen back in 1996 when you
Oh my.
Oh yeah, you had to get it from a psychiatrist.
Oh wow.
Just like when Vyvanse came out, you had to get it from a psychiatrist, which is where I got Vyvanse as well. And so I've done everything. Anytime there's something new that came out, I would be the first one to jump on it to get it, see if my insurance would cover it, do whatever I had to do. And so I was on Vyvanse starting in 2015. I think I was on it for 7 or 8 years. And
wow.
It just stopped working for me.
Yeah.
And I gained all my weight back plus. And so I was on Wegovy for 3 months in 2021, and I was miserable. I was so ill. I looked gray. I was still hungry. I still had the food noise completely, but I could eat. And so I told the company that I was getting through a telehealth, because it was quite expensive at that point, even though my insurance covered it through their program, it was quite expensive. And I said, "I don't care if you don't give me my money back. I feel like I'm going to die."
Oh no.
So they were like, "Okay." And they refunded me everything, which I was very happy about. But so then that just stopped. I was done at that point. And I was like, I told them I would actually rather be fat than die early, because that's how I felt. Like, and I didn't compute like I'm going to die early because I'm getting so heavy and unhealthy, but that's how I felt. And I was like, well, I'm now going to be fat for the rest of my life. That this is just what it's going to be. And I'm married to a 5-time Ironman.
Oh wow.
And he exercises all the time. My kids exercise all the time. I did until I had that cheerleading accident, and it's been very difficult for me. Like it looked like I'll limp around a lot of times, and I've had a lot of things that I have to do to be well with that. But so I've always had that in my background too, of like, gosh, he's just married to this me, who looks like it's just it's in your head,
right?
And I was like, well, I'm just gonna be fat for the rest of my life. This is just what it all is gonna be, and I can't even do anything about it. I can't stop eating, and for me, food noise, it was never just like huge meals. It wasn't that. It was every 7 to 10 minutes, I would go to the refrigerator or the pantry and I would need something to eat, and it didn't matter what it was. And we did not have what would be considered bad foods in the house. So it would be anything, an apple and yogurt and cheese stick, whatnot. And it satisfied me for while I was eating it. And then I would think, okay, I'm going to not eat anything until lunch now, and it's going to be healthy, and that'll be fine. And 7 to 10 minutes later, it would come back in my head again, and I would have to satisfy it. And now I see how related it is to people who are drug addicts or alcoholics, because it had to be satisfied. And there was nothing, I could not prevent myself from doing it. And this is every 7 to 10 minutes.
Well, you clocked it. You clocked it down to the minute.
Well, I could, yes. Oh, yes.
You could feel it. Yeah.
Why is this happening? Why is nobody else struggling? How can they have this willpower to not do this?
Yeah.
And so it was like that for decades.
Oh my gosh. How terrible.
Probably at least 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was really quite miserable. And so I found out about Tirzepatide compound in August of 2023, 2 years ago this month, right at this time. And it's like such a wonderful time to pick up and so I found out about it. I'd been going to a local IV therapy place for several years, trying to lose weight through them, trying to take everything.
Yeah.
Nothing helped. I mean, I had good blood work as far as that stuff is concerned, but nothing helped. And I found out about it through someone. And so I asked them about it. And I was their first patient that they got it for. And it was quite expensive. They still gave me a good deal. They gave me almost what they paid for it because they just wanted to help me. They were very kind. But they also, you have to compound it with something else. It can't just be straight Tirzepatide.
Right.
The manager who managed the place at that point, he was a big bodybuilder. So he compounded it with BPC 157, or he had it done for me that way. And BPC 157, I've come to find out, helps with, your muscle and things like that. So that I guess you don't lose muscle along this process. Yeah. But it hasn't been tested to put those two peptides together in the same syringe. And so I didn't do perfectly the few months that I was on it with that, because I felt like I was going to pass out most of the time.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it didn't feel great. However, within a half an hour, the first hour, the light switch, it just turned off.
Oh, what a relief.
The food noise was gone. I never thought about it again. And this is my miracle. This is a modern miracle pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And I know that it really is miraculous in that way, because I recently received a bad box of Zepbound. And it didn't work for several weeks. I could tell it was just, I was snacking more, and it was a struggle. And by the third week, it was like water. And I was me 2 years ago. Just eating everything, and I couldn't stop myself. I was like, I'll be better later. I'll be better in an hour. I'll be better tomorrow. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hate this. This is in my head again. What is happening? And so I didn't take that fourth injection. I took one from a different box. 2 hours later, I was very nauseated. I took a Zofran, and food noise was completely off, and everything was back to normal. So,
and that's a branded box that you got at the pharmacy, like CVS or somewhere like that.
Walgreens, yeah.
Was the expiration date passed? Do you have any idea?
No. It's December of 2026, I think is what it was. And so I sent it back into
Weird.
Right, I sent in a thing to Zepbound, or to Zepbound about it, to Eli Lilly about it. I'm still waiting to hear back. Usually they'll cover a new box and whatnot, but that's when I realized there is nothing I'm going to be able to do on my own for me. Other people, some people can get off of this medication and maintain and do things for themselves. I don't have that capacity, because my brain has a wiring that's firing incorrectly.
Yep. Sounds like. I agree 100% with that diagnosis. We are not doctors.
No, but I went to my cardiologist the other day. And I see him because I had a mini stroke after a minor
I know.
Gynecological procedure about 6-7 years ago. I had a mini stroke, as it can change your heartbeat, and with the anesthesia. And so I go to see him now every year, and he was absolutely thrilled. And he doesn't prescribe this to me, but he said, it's so great to see such a success story. And he is very pro this medication. And I really explained to him about how this works with food noise for me. And because his RN was talking about like telling other people in their practice, their patients, how they have to relearn how to eat. And I was like, no, not really. I said, it just kind of makes you eat. I said, because if I were off of this, I would revert back. I already have an example of that. I will be on this for life. And so I helped her to understand a little better. And then I was talking to the doctor, and he was like, yes, there is something with your brain and your gut that this is connecting
where it didn't.
Right. And I will always be on it. So I'm very into the maintenance aspect of this. I started talking about it last August. And because I was getting close to my weight goal, I was about to have a hysterectomy. And I was just very worried because I didn't hear many people talking about it. And what happens next? What if I can't get this anymore? What am I supposed to do here? And so I started talking a lot more about it. And so a lot of community members, we've been talking about it more. And that's kind of my niche is maintenance, because to me, this is the longest part of our journey. The weight loss, the weight loss part is actually quite small. And so it's the maintenance, however you can do it, whether without medication or with, that's the longest part. And so I want to be, I need something alongside me to be able to do that, which for me is medication. And I need insurance to pay for it, which currently they do. But, I'm about to submit for another PA, so we'll see what happens. But, that it's all, eventually I think these will all be covered. Things will be, we're just in such the beginning stages of all of this. So,
well, let's show your before and after pictures.
That's me.
Tell us about these.
Well, let's see. This is a family photo. I got to see my cousin, my favorite cousin, and I was trying to hide in that picture. And you can see I'm like clasping, trying to hide. And I did not realize I was that large until I saw that photo. And I was horrified. I still, even though I knew and I thought of myself as overweight, I still somehow delusionally thought of myself as thin, in the same token. And so when I would see the reality, it was shocking. And so that was shortly before I began the medication, or it was right around the time that I was starting it. And that picture on the right is from December, is from my nephew's wedding. And I haven't lost any since then. So that's me since maintenance. So I figured that was a good before and after.
You look fantastic. I mean, it's a great side by side. Do you want to tell people how much you've lost or how much of your body weight?
I am down 40% of my body weight, and I don't share the number because I'm 5'1", and people are generally not that short. And because they're not that short, they can't fathom the number that I'm at. I've tested it a few times, and it's always met with shock and then concern for me. But my provider knows, my psychiatrist who I would get the Vyvanse from, and now I get Adderall from, he knows, and my cardiologist knows, and they all are fine with it.
So, well, that's all you need to.
But I'm like, the public just, they don't get it, and so 40% is really all that matters. So that when I talk to people about weight loss, I ask them, I'm like, well, don't even tell me how much you've lost or even how much you weigh. How much are you down as far as a percentage? Because your percentage and mine, it'll be the same but it's different because of our heights.
Right.
So that's where I go from there. But 40% is quite a bit. I never expected to get that far.
Are you smaller now than you were, like, I guess, maybe not when you were bulimic, but maybe when you were, after that, maybe in those college years when you were cheerleading?
I don't even know what I weighed back. Well, during that time when I was cheerleading, I was gaining weight because of the accident and all the foods that I was put on. But I weigh less than that now.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely healthier than I was back then anyway. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and gosh, I mean, that's such a story, right? It just clearly you went through some severe trauma. The whole thing with the living with other women and the bulimia. I mean, I've heard that one before. You know what? And I've seen people in college that happened to, that I knew personally, and then to go through those other things with the other accidents and things, it just really shows, you know, you didn't have a problem initially, but all those things can definitely trigger. And then it got to a point where your food noise was just going off every 7 to 10 minutes. Like you just got into this loop that you couldn't break with anything until the Tirzepatide. I mean,
yes,
that's just
absolutely.
That's just an amazing story. I mean, something clearly got disconnected.
Yes.
And now the Tirzepatide helped.
What I discovered is my father and my sister are both pre-diabetic. And nobody shared this information, you know, like I didn't know any of it.
Yeah.
Also genetic high cholesterol. And so I'd had high cholesterol for quite a while at this point. And I always used a statin because I figured it's because I'm fat. And so then when I was at 30% down at that point last year. And my numbers only went down by 10 points. And I was still way high with my cholesterol. And so my primary care, she said, please just try a 5 milligram statin. And I said, okay, because now I know this is genetic. There's nothing more I can do about this. I eat well. This doesn't make any sense. I tried the 5 milligram and 2 months later, normal numbers. And I had zero effects. And I'm like, well, there yet again is another medication I will be on for life because it is genetic for me.
Genetic, right.
Zepbound, it's the same thing. I'm like, who would ever say to me to get off of cholesterol medication when they can see that I'm now a small person and I eat well, but just get off of it? You know, just try harder.
Yeah. Genetics, you can't overcome genetics, right? So you had sounds like some genetic predisposition toward being overweight, and then all those things kicked it in, and then the cholesterol. I mean, if you can't override it, and you need the medication, then you take the medication. And it's a lifelong medication, just like a GLP-1 will be for a lot of us. So
when I was sharing with my cardiologist, because generally people still congratulate me, and I was like, you know, I really don't take any. I don't take that as something that I've done necessarily, because it's the same thing as the statin. I didn't do anything. I don't deserve accolades for this. I've been able to eat more appropriately, but it's not because of Korrie, it's because the medication just fixed what was broken. So I really try to kind of hammer that into people when I speak with them about it, that this is not anything that has to do with my morality of, you know, how well I'm doing this. And I also don't want to take away from a lot of my friends who the medication hasn't been perfect for. That's where my heart is at a lot, because a lot of them, they'll be at the highest dose and they still have a lot to go. And it's very difficult for them. And they're exercising all the time. They're eating everything they can just perfectly right. And I didn't have to do anything. It just fixed my body. Like my body runs like a machine now. Like, wow. And I actually tested the theory out. I ate like garbage for a good week. Just whatever I could think of, whatever garbage. And I still lost weight that week. So for me, it works like miraculously. So, but I don't really. It was literally just a test that I did for myself. So this is not what it's like for everybody else, you know. And I don't want people to think that this is their moral failing, because it's not. It just happened to be my magic shot.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's body is going to respond differently to the medication, like you mentioned. So, and I get what you mean about people congratulating you on the weight loss. And I congratulate people all the time on their weight loss. And, but thinking about me personally, yeah, I've lost weight a lot of times before.
Yeah.
This time is different because I had this medication, and we always knew what to do. We always knew what we were supposed to eat.
Mhm.
I think you probably have exercised throughout. I've exercised throughout. It was just like this
I
missing
haven't.
piece.
I actually,
More.
because I had the hysterectomy
Oh, okay.
August, and I was very weak for many, 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 many months. And then I also refused HRT initially because I was afraid from the old studies that it was going to give me cancer and all sorts of things. And my gynecologist, who is a close friend as well, I mean, he was like, Corey, I promise you it's fine. But I still still didn't believe him.
Yeah.
And I finally saw that Oprah special back, I think, in December when Dr.
Yeah.
Mary, I forget her name. She was on there and she really explained everything. Mary Claire Haber,
Yeah.
the pause life. And she thoroughly explained it in a way from a female that I was able to accept more easily, I think.
Yeah.
And I texted my friend and I was like, okay, I'm ready to get on this, because at that point I could tell my memory was starting to lapse.
Oh,
Because the estrogen was so low in my body. And that's when I made the connection and I understood it more fully. And so I started HRT in January and had to up it a couple times. And I'm back to normal again. I've lost what I've lost, but I'm back to normal again. But I was still very fatigued during that time. Only in the last few months have I started to feel a little bit better. I had an iron infusion, and that's the big that helped me. I also tried the NAD plus, and initially I thought it was helpful. But I did it for 3 months and I did not notice anything
really?
with energy, nothing. Not after like few days.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit about that. I've been wondering. I don't really know anybody who is on that, so it's
I
interesting.
try everything. I try a lot of different things. I'm like, what can make me better? And I try to think of what's gonna fix things long term so that I age backwards and I'm here for a long time.
Yeah.
I try a few things here and there, but I stopped that after 3 months because I just didn't find anything. But, I still I do glutathione injections monthly. I do vitamin D injections, calcium injection. I mean, I do everything I can think of doing, really, because I've been fatigued for about 5 years. Why I had the hysterectomy. And my body has truly been in recovery this year. And I've only been recently, I would say the last 2 months, maybe, since I had the iron infusion, have I felt more weight and like I could actually do something. So I've been doing very small things. I do not do cardio because I do not want to lose more weight. But strength training is where my focus is at.
Gotcha.
So I'll be doing that long term and for bone health and things like that.
Have you started strength training? How long have you been doing that?
No. It's very
low.
It's very mild. So,
very mild. Okay.
A lot of things, just like I'm working on my muscles as far as my legs right now. So I go up and down my stairs, not getting my heart rate up, trying to get more strength back in. And then I also those vibrating plates. So with my arms, doing that and letting it vibrate. But it's been very slow process for me. And I was beating myself up about it for a little while, but I just don't anymore because it was a lot. It was 5 years of really suffering and needing that hysterectomy.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had that minor surgery first to try to fix the problem, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And I came back thinking of different things I could do. And so then finally I was like, all right, I'll do this. So my grandbaby was born in June, helping out my daughter and everything. And then I had it in August, 3 days after my 50th birthday.
Oh, wow.
It has been equally as positively impactful on my health and life as Zepbound has been, equally.
Wow. Wow.
So it's been quite the year of good health and recovery. And I just look forward to like a lifetime of this now. I really thought a few years ago, right before I found out about Tirzepatide, July 2023, I was on the beach with my girlfriend and I told her I'm miserable. I am just miserable. And I really wondered if I was going to make it to my 50th birthday.
Oh, wow.
I was going to turn 49 the next month. And I was just like, I don't even know what I'm going to do here. And God just gave me the answer that it was such a gift, just like, and here you go.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I love what you said about the hormone replacement therapy. Because a lot of, and I was included in that. Like my provider said, here, you're in perimenopausal, like you need to start this. And I said, oh, well, isn't that bad? Like,
Right.
Yeah, because that's what we have in our mind. There's not really a lot of information out there about it. So same as you, I saw that Oprah special. And I'm like, maybe I need to start putting on those patches that the doctor gave me. And it really did make such a difference. So that's
good. Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So, I mean, if women out there are watching and they're perimenopausal or even menopausal, like definitely talk to your doctor about it, because those studies have been discredited.
Totally discredited. And we've been suffering for decades. And it's really quite linked to dementia without estrogen. And so I wanted to be very cautious about that. And I spoke with my gynecologist about surgery. And he was like, we don't remove ovaries anymore unless we have to. Because you need your estrogen. Now, still, I have my ovaries still, everything else they've removed. However, they only work at maybe 10 to 20% after hysterectomy. So that is the problem with that. And that's why you have to get on it. So I just do the patches, twice a week. Progesterone as well. And then I was doing testosterone injections through my IV therapy place because, it's a weird thing. They don't see, insurance does not see women as needing testosterone yet.
Yeah.
So I do that sometimes. I'll take an injection maybe like once a month just to kind of keep my levels at a normal range. But I don't really pump it up. I'm not looking to be 20 in that capacity anymore. And I just, I've done it before where it was much higher and I became much angrier. I was a little bit more short with how I would speak with people, a little bit more aggressive. And I didn't like that side of me. I was like, I don't need that much testosterone. So
Interesting.
It's good to be. Yeah.
Well, tell people where they can find you, what platforms you're on.
I am primarily on TikTok, and that is how I found all of this information initially back in 2023. Dave Knapp from The Pen, and I was his guest maintenance person for a while while he still had his show. He was the first person I saw. And so I was like, oh, there's people out here talking about this. Kids platform. So my username, because it got banned after like however many months in, they were banning a bunch of people and whatever. So and so I had to make a new one. It's Korrie, Korrie .take 2, the number 2. I'm primarily on there. I'll put it on Instagram as well. Sometimes I have a Korrie.take 2 on there as well. But I don't like using that one as much because sometimes my husband sees it or my family sees it or my friends see it. And I'm like, I don't know. See my goofy videos that I make and whatnot. So I put a few things on there and it's just not as interactive. It's so different, such a different platform on Instagram than TikTok. TikTok feels like it's happening right now.
Yes.
You're interacting constantly like that. So I'm on there quite often with that.
Well, tell me about your maintenance journey. How have you adjusted to maintenance?
It's not been difficult. I know for some people it's very difficult. And so I always tell people it may be for you. It may be more difficult for you. For me, it hasn't been difficult because I'm on the medication. I did not dose down. And that's with my medical provider's blessing. I am at 15 milligrams and I actually probably don't need to be at 15. I know it's probably too strong for me. However, a year ago, I was on 7.5 and I needed to go up to 10. So I was on 10 for a month, and that's when the shortages were happening.
Oh.
I couldn't find 10, so I had to get 12.5.
Oh.
And my insurance said that they would only cover 12.5 for 1 month because it's a 0.5 dosage. And they decided at that point that it's not a maintenance dosage.
Right.
And so during that time, there was also the concern, and it happened to many people, where if you dose down, your insurance said, oh, no, you already failed that one. So you're not going to get it at all anymore.
Oh, goodness.
So then I'm up to 15. So I've been stuck at 15 for well over a year. And I, with my medical provider's blessing, I usually space them out. So sometimes it's 7 days if I feel like I need it. Generally, it's no more than 10 days. Because at 10 days, I've tried it at 11 days, and it was rough for me. It started coming back, the food noise, and I just did not feel well overall. So 10 days is the max I'll go. But I kind of spread them out like that. And so, because if I do every 7 days, I continue to lose weight. So I have to be cautious with that. So I just make sure that I'm eating, getting in protein. And like, I've discovered egg bites, which I would have never eaten before. I've heard that they're delicious, and I've never tried them. And I started eating those. And I love roll-ups. Like, I'll make roast beef or turkey with provolone for lunch and fruit on the side. I don't have to think about it that much. I just eat what I like. And it's not been difficult for me. I don't eat a ton at dinner. Not usually terribly hungry at that point. I eat a lot at breakfast and lunch, and I just don't tend to snack. Like, I don't think about it. So that's been kind of the biggest thing for me, is to not be snacking. But I eat appropriately. It's still far less than my family is used to seeing me eat. So they still sometimes are like, well, you're not eating that much. I'm like, because these are normal portions for guys. Like, this is normal. I promise you. Everybody says it's okay. Like, the medical providers all say it's okay, but they're so used to me eating and eating and eating and eating. And so I look at it that way. But yeah, so I eat appropriately. Sometimes I eat poorly, like anyone. But like, if my birthday's coming up this weekend, I will be having cake.
Oh yeah.
I'm good. I will be having Peniel vodka. There's all sorts of things that I'm looking forward to. My cardiologist asked if I lost the joy of eating. He asked me, compared it to when he had COVID and the sense of taste and smell that he didn't like it at all. I was like, oh no, I still love to eat. He was like, oh, that's so good to hear. I was like, yeah, I love food. I love to eat. I just eat less of it now.
I just eat less of it now. Yeah. Do you track your protein grams or anything like that?
I used to, but now I just know basically what it is. If I feel like if I haven't had enough, I'll just drink a shake.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing that helped me in the beginning, because I was not, and this is when I was with the IV therapy place. And the manager told me, he was like, whatever you do, have to eat 700 calories a day minimum. He was like, I'm telling, and I was like, well, of course I will. It was like, serious, you're not going to feel like eating at all. And he was right. And with the mix of the BPC 157, it was rough for me. And so they finally said, drink protein shakes all day long. Just do it. And so they have something called an in-body scan, where you stand there and you hold on to the things, and it tells you about your muscles. And so they had measured me when I first started, Tirzepatide versus few months later, and I had dropped a lot of muscle. And so that's what they told me. So I started drinking 3 protein shakes a day, and a few months later they tested it again, and I had lost more weight, but I had gained, and
nice.
I hadn't exercised at all.
Just from the protein.
Just from the protein. And so I was like, oh, that's easy, because a lot of times when you're at the beginning of this and you're losing, and it's hard to eat in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's hard to chew, I think, more than anything. Chewing is very difficult. So drinking is a lot easier. So that's why I'm like, just get in the protein shakes. It's no big deal. And so that's what I did. I had 3 of them a day. So if I ever feel like I'm not getting enough, I'll just chug one of those, and it's no big deal, and it's fine.
Do you weigh yourself daily, weekly?
I didn't for a while, and the doctor that I'm with, the nutritionist or dietitian, she only wanted me to weigh once a month, and I was like, I think I could do once a week. I don't have to do once a month, and she's like, that's fine, whatever is good for you.
Yeah.
But then they started a program while I was a patient, because they were doing some sort of internal study, and they sent me a Bluetooth scale, and they wanted me to weigh daily for months. And that really messed with my head. Not like that. But it was the only way to stay in the program. And so I got used to that. And so I started weighing for a while, and I hated seeing it every day because it just made me think about it more. And I don't like the word triggering, but it felt a little bit like that. Like, this is getting me back into that mindset of this is all that matters, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to think that way. But eventually it lost its power. Now I don't weigh that often. I weigh to make sure that I'm not losing. That's why.
Well, that's a good measure too, right? You don't want to.
Yeah. Because I stay within 3 pounds.
Yeah.
When you're in maintenance, what a lot of people say is you give yourself like a 10-pound range in maintenance.
Yeah.
That's for somebody who's taller than me, I've discovered. For me, it would
probably
be
taller than me too. Yeah. That's a big swing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. For me, that would be like another pant or 2 size, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very different. So for me, it's maybe like a 5-pound range that I give myself.
Yeah.
I don't fluctuate more than 3 pounds. But if I go lower at all, I immediately kick it up and I start eating more and I extend it out. And I'm very cautious about that because I do not want to lose more.
Right.
See how it can so easily happen when your body works like a machine on these medications.
Yeah.
And so I'm cautious about that. I don't want to be frail, you know, and I'm nowhere near frail. But I don't want to be. I want to be very cautious and proactive. And so I ensure that I get my protein in and calories. But yeah, I'm pretty good about protein, but I now know, like, I don't count it because I just know them all so well at this point. I need, and I can feel it in my body at this point. I'm feeling slightly more fatigued than I did yesterday. I weigh myself, and then I can see that I've gone down a pound, and I'm like, I got to gain some weight immediately.
Yeah. It's good that you're so in tune to how you're feeling, how the medicine makes you feel, all those things. It's very, you're very dialed in, right? So, I mean, I think that's important.
I have I don't know if it's a disorder, but it's something. My dad and my sister don't feel pain very much. Like it's a neurological thing. And I feel everything. Like I can feel anything that's happening in my body, and it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, I feel things, and I tell nurses and doctors how I felt this, and they're like, "How did you feel that?" Like I was telling you, I feel it, and I'm in so much pain right now. Like but I had a kidney stone maybe 5 years ago. I was telling the urologist about it, and I said how much I was dying in pain, and I said, but then I felt this like a drop, and then a burst, and then it stopped.
And the kidney stone broke
out. You felt this. I was like, feel everything.
Wow. I'm surprised you're not more sensitive to the medicine.
I know. But my body just needed a lot more.
It just didn't have that. So it just filled that in.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Like one of my siblings is on it, and they don't need as much as I do. But I'm also at 15 for ridiculous reasons. So, but you know, who knows? It did. You're right. It filled in that gap of where I needed.
Yeah.
But the other aspects to it, I can just feel everything. So I'm very sensitive to where I know, okay, I just had this injection. I mean, I can feel it in 10 minutes, and I can feel something in my brain. I mean, when I get IV therapy, they inject me, they do some stuff, and the glutathione especially, I can feel it going in my, like, it's through your blood vessels and stuff, but I can feel it happening.
Wow.
And it's a flushing feeling in your face and then in your brain. But I feel everything. And so with the medication, I'm very sensitive to it, but fixed whatever I needed to fix.
Yeah.
But everything else, yeah, I do feel.
That's really,
Oh, it's weird. It's weird. It's annoying.
I don't want to seem crazy, but it's you know what I mean? Like to feel it that acutely, you know, I don't know what to say.
Well, my sister and father, I mean, my sister said decades ago, she used to feel badly that she didn't feel sorry for people that much when they were in pain because she couldn't relate.
She didn't understand what it meant.
Right. When she had children, she felt horrible that they were in pain, and then she understood more, but she physically doesn't feel it the same way. And I feel it acutely. So,
interesting. I mean, I guess I could make that as analogy with food noise, right? Like a person who doesn't have overweight or obesity, they don't understand food noise because they've never had it. You know, it's very hard to explain to someone who's never heard that little voice in their brain.
My best way of explaining it was when I share with people how I would have to go every 7 to 10 minutes, and it would go like this, and just like in my brain. And it's something in my brain that I could not satisfy, like somebody who needed drugs or somebody who needed alcohol. It was a similar type of thing. And I've never tried drugs, and I don't even like alcohol, but I definitely needed food to silence that for me. And so that's been, it's been so freeing and liberating and healing for me to not have that in my life anymore. And I think about everything else I want to think about and do all the things that I want to do now. Like I had pushed off our 25th anniversary trip for 2 years because I was too embarrassed to be in photos, and I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up. And so not this past February, the February before, when I was only on the medication, maybe 5 months, 6 months, 5 months, we went to Finland, Norway, and Sweden. And I did all sorts of things, and it was just amazing. And now we're planning other events. We went to Costa Rica. I rode on the horse. A horse on the beach was my dream come true for my entire life. I would have never done it before.
Yeah.
Like my whole life has expanded.
That's great.
And I realize now just how much I was hiding. And I hate that I lost so many years hiding behind the scenes. And just trying to let everybody else be seen. I was still there. I was still there in supportive role and whatever, still active, doing everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be seen in anything. And I have very few photos of myself, and it's just sad to me. So I would say to anybody who is not even on this journey yet, just to do the things, go to the pool, your kids, go in the pool. Like there's a swim place that we would always go to. I never once went in that pool until last summer.
Oh, wow.
And this is almost 20 years of going to this place.
Oh, wow.
So I'd always sat on the side with, a cover up and watch my kids play and sat on the side and put my legs in, whatever. I had never once gone in that pool until last summer. And it was with my daughter, who was 9 months pregnant at the time, and my son. And I was like, I'm in the pool with them right now. And I was so happy, but I was also kind of in tears inside, like, I wasted all that time and nobody was looking at me anyway. And even if they were, who cares? I mean, these are memories that I can't get back. We're in it. So.
I mean, I'm glad you're feeling good now, and you found what works for you, and you're making those new memories and going on the trips and doing all the things. So, we can only go from where we are, right? So
absolutely.
I think you're doing great. Is there any one tip or anything you want to say to somebody who's just starting a GLP-1 journey?
Oh, goodness. Well, like the thing I said about the protein shakes, I would say that
protein shakes,
just get in the protein, even if it has to be liquid. Just be through the first few months, like Kim says from the plus sides, it's not your fault. You're not alone. And I really understood that when JT, who was on the show, she was talking about her family. and the genetic background to it. And it was so relatable to my story exactly. And I remember being in my kitchen and I just cried because I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't my fault.
Right.
I really self-blamed for so long. And to know that it really wasn't my fault, it was so freeing. And it just was a component that needed rewiring. And that was it. And my whole life is ahead of me now because of it. It is not their fault. And it's such a great feeling to know that. And there's just so much out there that's going to be coming. And this is just the beginning. So whatever they have to do to get it, there are a lot of places out there that help with compounding. And I'm glad Eli Lilly lowered their prices for getting it direct. I'm hoping that they lower it more.
Me too.
I mean, like that really, it's that important. It is as vital as insulin was when it came out. Like this is how much of an impact this medication has made. And I think that if they really, I mean, they have to work on that. So because there's going to be so many people who it's going to be just transforming. There's going to be so many things coming down the pipeline. And we're just at the cusp of this. Like I
really are
very blessed to be part of this in the beginning and to know I'll be 51 this weekend. I mean, I might live way, way longer now because I know I will, And so it's very exciting. But, there's a lot of people online who are willing to help you just to talk and for free. Like I'm not connected to any telehealth company. I don't sell anything. I'm just passionate about it. It changed my life so much for the better. And you just want to be part of that community. The community is so vital to your walk, I would say, in this. It is so vital to so many people going alongside because your family a lot of times gets a little tired of it. And most of them just can't understand anyway. So it's really helpful to have others who have been in your shoes alongside. So I would say community is one of the biggest factors.
Community for sure. Well, happy birthday, Korrie.
Thank you.
And as my grandmother would say, and many, many more.
I pray so.
Thanks for spending some time with us today on the Downsized Dish. Be sure to find Korrie on TikTok. And I hope everyone out there will like and subscribe. There's her TikTok handle, Korrie.take2. I hope you'll like and subscribe to our channel, The Downsized. And if you'd like to come on and tell me your story, because gosh, you know what? Everybody's story is really just so different. That's the amazing thing about these medications. Send me an email to Laraine@thedownsized.org. We'll chat just like we did here with Korrie today. And I really appreciate it. Well, thanks so much, Korrie, for coming on today. Have a great birthday. Eat all the cake you want.
I will. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thanks everybody for watching. I'm Laraine Durham for The Downsized. See you next time.